So this skater remains one of the most underrated American players of his generation. Really skated some really strong games in international play for Team USA, and also kept the family tradition going in many ways. Now, although he was born in Canada, he was raised in Cranston, Rhode Island, so technically he was a U.S. eligible player for many years. Now, we're going to talk about the curious case and of the very talented Curt Bennett. Now, Curt Bennett was a large drink of water, 6'3", 195, a big centerman. And he came from a family of hockey players. Now, his father, Harvey Bennett Sr., and two of his brothers, Harvey Bennett Jr. and Bill Bennett, also played in the NHL. Now, his nephew, Mac Bennett, was also selected in the 2009 NHL entry draft, 79 overall, by the Habs. Now, Bennett first came to prominence in the 1961 Quebec International Pee Wee Hockey Tournament with a squad that was representing Cranston. Now, in the Cranston High School program, he drew a lot of press with some impressive numbers for that Rhode Island, prep squad. And he went on to Brown University for 3 very strong seasons. His last season with Brown was his best, with 63 points in 24 games, including 26 goals. Now, in college, he was an all-ECAC hockey second team in 69. He made the ECAC first team in 1970, and he was an AHCA East All-American. Now, because he ended up undrafted, my apologies. There were thoughts he was going to end up undrafted, but St. Louis took an early header on him and took him in his first season of eligibility in 1968, 16th overall. Sorry, I'm confusing with another player. My apologies. Now he joined the Blues again after his 3 successful years with Brown, where he made Brown University Hall of Fame. Now he holds school records for goals by a defenseman in the game, season and career. He graduated with a degree in Russian studies from Brown, where he was also captain of the men's tennis team and was nominated for a Rhodes Scholarship. Now, at one point, Bennett was married to Susan Bennett, who later provided, get this, the voice of the Apple assistant, Siri. Small world. Now, Bennett appeared in 4 NHL games in his rookie season before becoming a regular player for the Blues in the 72 playoffs. He was then traded to the Rangers during the offseason. After 16 games with the Rangers, he was dealt to the Flames, where he became one of their premier forwards with playing alongside people like Bob Leiter and Jacques Richard. Now, Bennett provided leadership, defensive skills, by shadowing the other team's top player, and a toughness that a young team needed. And he also represented the Flames in the 75 and 76 All-Star game. He had a career-high 65 points in 76, and he also served as one of the assistant captains on the U.S. team at the inaugural Canada Cup in 1976. Now, he struggled in the following 2 seasons, and he was dealt back to St. Louis in a 6-player trade in late 1977. Now, Bennett then spent the next 2 seasons with the Blues, and during those years also played for the U.S. national team at the 78 and 79 World Hockey Championships. Now, in 79, he was traded back to the Flames, where he played the final 21 games of the 80 season, scoring just 1 goal. Now, Bennett ended his initial career with 334 points in 500 games, and he was also the first American to score 30 goals in a season. A lot of players came very close, and that 30-year amount came twice. He scored 31 goals in 75 and 34 in 76. He also added 22 goals in 77. Now, he did play in Japan for a short while with the Furukawa Electric, and he was a longtime resident of Japan, where he and his brother co-coached the Furukawa squad. Now, while in Japan, Bennett also filed television reports and wrote a number of articles for Goal magazine about his experience living in Japan and the local ice hockey culture. He had previous journalistic experience of working as a part-time Atlanta sportscaster, doing his career with the Flames, and he also served as a national television color commentator during the '77 Stanley Cup playoffs. He and Harvey both retired from hockey in '82 after 2 years with the Japan squad. Now, after moving back to Atlanta, he became involved, like many players do, in commercial real estate and continued his work with the NHL Players Association to help players transition to life after hockey. In '93, he also served as assistant coach for IHL's Atlanta Knights, which, of course, the Mano Rheaume years, and led a group of local businessmen working to bring NHL hockey back to Atlanta, where it came back but then left again. Now, in 2000, he moved to Maui, where he owns a company that designs and builds water features both in the Hawaiian Islands and on the U.S. Mainland. So a very, very diverse career. Now, he's Team USA totals. He got 3 assists in '76 at the Canada Cup. At the Worlds in '78, he had 3 goals, including, if I'm not mistaken, a very important goal against the Russians. I think he scored 2 against the Russians. I'll have to go to the tape. In '79, he had 1 assist in 8 games, so 3-4-7 in 23 games for Team USA. But what's kind of weird here, he had played with the Denver Spurs of the WHL, but he never, I think a couple of WHA teams were following him, but it never really worked out. And of course, he was part of that 1974 squad that took on the Flyers in that historic quarterfinal series between Bobby Clark's squad and the Flames. The reason why I'm bringing it up quite a bit, just for the Flames to play the eventual Stanley Cups as the champion that year, drew a lot of interest in the southern part of the States, and it was currency to say, listen, Atlanta's got a good team for the future, and besides Bennett, they had a lot of good talent in Atlanta. That's kind of the lost history of the NHL, how good those Atlanta teams were. Sort of like Pittsburgh in the mid-'70s. We don't talk about it because we talk about Boston, Montreal, Toronto, the Rangers, the Flyers. But Pittsburgh and Atlanta were very, very strong offensive teams, and they were interesting to watch. Very interesting to watch. So that's the story of Mr. Bennett, and I heard as well that his hockey cards in certain parts of the States are worth more than some what do you call stars. They used to call that semi-stars. So if you have a chance, if you see on eBay his cards are a little bit higher than normal, he's still a popular